on both sides. And I love that you said that, Rosetown, because we're going to transition into the next part of the show, which is the Matthew Stafford talk. Okay. It looks like they're in agreement here that he's going to go out here and kind of test the market, kind of see what teams would be interested in him. And, what that capital would look like in terms of draft capital. We know the Rams are searching for a early round pick, preferably a number one, which I think is kind of crazy for a 37-year-old. But I don't know if you guys seen this today, but Vinny B dropped something kind of interesting today on Twitter, put out a tweet. And this is a guy that came from the Los Angeles area in terms of media. I believe he used to cover the Rams in the past. Vinny B of the Las Vegas Review-Journal came out and said something to keep an eye on. Per sources, the persuasiveness of Tom Brady as a recruiter for the Raiders. It will make things interesting during free agency and maybe even in the trade market. It's why you can't rule out Matthew Stafford as an option, per sources. So I'm assuming that this is probably coming from somebody in that building that he has ties with out there in the Los Angeles area with the Rams. What do you guys think about this? We're going to start with Big Mike. And what do you think, honestly, your assessment with the draft capital? What are you willing to give up for Matthew Stafford, a guy that's 37 years old, probably has maybe 2-3 years tops left to help us, transition into that next quarterback, whoever it is. I mean, honestly, Matthew Stafford might only have a few years. He might have Pete Carroll years left.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? How do you feel about this? What are you giving up for Matthew Stafford?
I give up a second. I give up a second for him.
Okay.
First is we definitely can't give up that first. I think we still need to draft a quarterback. And if that's the case, he needs to sit behind a Matthew Stafford. I'm cool with Stafford as long as he's going to be linked up together with Pete Carroll for how long Pete Carroll is going to be here for.
Yeah.
And then if, he walks off in the sunset along with Pete Carroll, that's cool. But what I want to see is continuity from that point, meaning whoever is with Pete Carroll, is he almost like the heir apparent to him, along with the heir apparent to Matthew Stafford coming up. Yeah. So that's what I want to see. I don't want to see like the two entities being separate and not linking together, not working together, and trying to improve over the years. We need some continuity. Now,
what if you give up a second and Will Howard's gone? Because I'm assuming that he's going to rise up draft boards. He has that prototype body, 6'4", had a big year last year. 35 touchdowns, like 10 picks or something like that. Won a natty. I mean, if you move on from a second round pick, you're hoping at this point that you probably can get one in the third round. And at that point, it's kind of a mixed bag, because I think Dart's going to be gone. I think he'll be a first round guy because his name is starting to ring a lot. Yeah. Shador's gone. And if you get Matthew Stafford, are you still trying to get one of those guys there early in the first? Do you take a Shador or a Cam, or do you move up to go get him to sit behind Matthew Stafford? I'm sorry, Shador, he has no character issues, but he's not sitting for 2 or 3 years.
Yeah, that's true.
It's not happening.
In that case, you would have to. You got 2/3, right?
Mm-hmm.
Maybe you take one of those thirds, package it up the following year with another second, and move back into the second. There's still ways to get back into the second round without, just being like, you can give up the second and be like, all right, we got our eye, just watch the board, watch what's going on. You slide in there right at the right time.
Yeah.
And, leapfrog a team that might be getting a Will Howard or whoever and getting that guy in the later second or mid second, whatever it may be. You can slide back in there and get that, just, give up maybe next year's second.
You also have a Tyree Wilson or a Michael Mayer that you could potentially add into a trade package to move up. We got Brock. Essentially, we love Michael Mayer. You know what I'm saying? But, I mean, you can use him as something to move up in order to go get the quarterback. How do you feel, Hammer? What are you giving up for Matthew Stafford? Because I would love to see him in the silver and black. And I think that he would be the perfect transitional bridge quarterback. But honestly, it's like a 37-year-old, you're parting ways with draft capital. I know that people aren't going to agree with me on this. I would rather go get Aaron Rodgers for $10 or $15 million instead of trading for Matthew Stafford. I'm sorry. Like, if you can keep the draft capital, why do that?
One, when it comes to Aaron Rodgers, you won't have to trade shit and you won't have to pay him that much. You can give him the league vet minimum because the Jets are still paying his shit. Mm-hmm. Let's revisit real quickly the trade between the Packers and the Jets and how that package worked out. The Jets got Rodgers and they moved up 2 spots with the first round pick. They went from 15 to 13, and a 5th round pick. Packers received the 2023 first, 2023 second, 2023 sixth, conditional 2024 second that became a first if Rodgers played 65% of the plays in 2024. It's really tough to say because I really do not want to give up that first round pick.
Yeah.
Especially where it's 6. Where are the Rams? They're like 23, 24, something like that.
Yeah. Yeah, they're definitely at the back of the first round. They made a nice little run, won a playoff game. Yeah.
I'd much rather go the route of taking Aaron Rodgers on that league vet minimum. Hopefully Tay doesn't even attempt to want to come back here.
Yeah.
But we still get our quarterback. Let him learn behind Rodgers for a year. Rodgers, less turnover prone than Stafford. I know the age will play a part in that too, but I'd much rather go the route of taking Rodgers.
Yeah. And I love Matthew Stafford. I think that he's one of the top. He could throw a football. that guy still has the arm strength. If you watch him last year, salute the tape, don't lie. They just put something up on Twitter. Man, he made a phenomenal throw in a tight window. I forgot who it was against. But, I mean, Matthew Stafford still has it. He definitely still has it. You know what I mean? But the bare minimum, like Big Mike said, one of those thirds, because you still have to pay him a shit ton of money. He still has an existing contract.
Right.
You know what I mean? So essentially you're moving a mid-round pick to pay him top-tier quarterback money. So ideally a 3rd round, I would love to give a 4th, but there's going to be a team out there like Pittsburgh that's going to say, we want to go all in. We want to go all in. We'll give you our late first or mid-first round pick, you know, for Matthew Stafford. So I don't see how this is going to work with the Raiders. I just don't, unless you're willing to part ways with an early draft pick. Like Mike said, potentially a second. You never know, man. One of these quarterback needy teams, Pittsburgh might say, look, Mike Tomlin might start feeling the pressure. Yeah. You start to finally hear it now, like, hey, man, you get into the playoffs, you're losing every year. You know, like that fan base is getting pissed, bro. You know what I mean? Yeah. So maybe he goes all in, goes and gets Matthew Stafford, moves that first round pick. Who's to say? But I would rather, and I know a lot of people don't agree with Aaron Rodgers, I would rather go that route, bring him in, have him for a year or two, 2-year deal, second year be a team option, whether it's team option or an Aaron option, if he wants to retire or move on, so on and so forth. I'd rather go that route.
I got a question for you, though, in terms of
so the Q too, my dog.
What is the situation with Stafford? Like, I know his wife got on the social media and was saying whatever it was she was saying. Is it that he wants more money? Is that what